With low down payments and the lowest interest rates in recorded history, now is the time to refinance or purchase a home. I have many products that can accommodate many income earning scenarios. No tax returns, no 4506T tax forms, no pay stubs, not a problem for my bank statement programs, no bank ledgers, no 1099s, not a problem for my asset depletion program. I can help you. Call me today.
Well, I am back. So every now and again, I am going to do videos where I am talking about different loan products, but I wanted to change it up and mix it up because this was such a great experience with this couple. How we met, how long it took, how many times it took attempts for them to get a property. So I thought, you know what, let's talk about it. Let's put it on camera so my audience and the different people who follow the different platforms that I may be on can see firsthand what it is to be a first-time homeowner. First time. And the reunion. They did it the right way. Okay, so I'm Jackie Braden. I'm your mortgage loan officer. I'm going to be here talking to the beautiful Nicole and Will. I recently closed on a multi-unit with them back in September. That's all we're going to say. We don't tell y'all the city because, you know, we don't want you guys looking them up. We just want to talk about their story. We don't come hunting them down, talking about how beautiful their property is. And we're just going to talk about their story. I think it's a great story. And so you guys can introduce yourself. I mean, what more should I introduce? Like, should I be introducing any brands, names, anything y'all want to shout out?
No,
shout
not
out
yet.
Kids.
We're not there yet, but
not there yet.
soon.
Husband and wife, we can introduce that.
Okay, yes. And I find husband and wife couple, I must say. They
Yeah.
travel. Okay, and then that's another thing too. Because I definitely want to get into the part where I told you guys, do not travel.
Oh, yes.
And they listen. That's the part that I love. The fact that, I mean, we're telling you guys things for a reason. Bars don't realize how easy it is for you guys to fall out of escrow. And it could just be you doing things that you don't even realize. Like if I go purchase this, if I go run my credit, oh, well, I'm buying a house, I'm about to get new furniture, or, well, I want a new car with the house, or I was already, like, you could try to do all things at one time, or you could just be patient. And the biggest priority would be the home and do nothing else, not even travel, because we did experience a slight change, I think, in you guys' spending habit at the end. Something happened at the end to where we're like, what was that? And then it triggered underwriting to then ask more questions, which caused us to delay, because now you got to prove what you just did. Yeah. And so that's why I felt like, you know, this is a good lesson. So we'll start from the beginning. Husband and wife couple, how long have you guys been married?
July
3 years.
Yeah, July
3 years.
of 2017.
Oh, so you guys, that's why you guys are traveling like that. You guys are still in the honeymoon stage.
Oh, no, we've been together a long time.
Yeah.
Oh.
We just have only been married
Yeah.
for 3 years.
So I've been on a 13-year bid.
Oh, big.
How much more time you got on your books, man?
No, so we met in
Yeah.
07,
We
end
met
of
together.
07.
Okay.
So then we got married in 2017.
Yeah.
So it took
What took so long?
school.
Me.
She was in school.
Yeah.
Okay.
But we didn't like officially move in together until 2012. So we lived together for 5 years and then we got married in 2017.
Engaged for 5 years.
That too.
Yeah. I had to finish school.
So I think the
first.
time was perfect. I have no complaints about.
Oh, good. And as long as she was in control of that, then that's all that matters.
Yeah. I had career goals first.
Yes. So, and then how we met, which is awesome, is, so you said September of last year or October? I know it was the
probably
fall for
October.
sure.
So we officially met at
In November.
Face to face.
Face to face in November.
Okay, so
but
first I did a podcast, Speedy and Friends podcast, I believe in October or September of 2019.
Yeah.
So my whole goal to go on that podcast was to promote the idea of first-time homeowners purchasing multi-units as their first property. And the reason for that is, which you guys will be able to tell them that you did benefit from, is that when you get a multi-unit, you literally can have such a low mortgage payment on that property to where that one property you live in, the second property can pay your residual income. That third property is something you can save, and even if you got a fourth unit, that one can be whatever, because it really pays for itself. And so when it works, it works. And you guys were willing to have your family. They only have 2 kids, so it made sense. Like a family of 5, maybe to live in a 2-bedroom, 3-unit may not work, but your situation worked perfect.
Yeah.
So. What was that decision like? Did you guys have to come to a hard decision? Did you have to convince her, or y'all both were on board?
So what happened originally, because we lived in Orange County, so originally we were just going to get a single family home. And we went to a seminar that was hosted by DJ Envy of the Breakfast Club. And that changed our mind. So on the way home, I'm thinking in my head, like, dang, how I'm going to convince her to go from a single family home, having her own yard to herself, to living with 2 other people. Not in the same house, obviously, but in 2 different units. And I brought it up because we had dinner afterwards, and she was with it. I was like, cool, I didn't have to convince her.
Oh.
So from that point, that changed up our whole plan. So I did some research myself. I listened to other podcasts, educated myself on ways to go about it, which led me to other podcasts from that point on. And once I got the math down on what to look for, then I knew I was full go. So I was confident. Now, my backstory is I've been in real estate since 2007 myself. So I knew what to look for in the property. The only thing I had to really get educated on is numbers, as far as what's good numbers, what's bad numbers. And considering that we lived in California, I wasn't afraid of getting something that was slightly overpriced, because in California I know the value is going to surpass the price anyway, as opposed to somewhere like in the Midwest where you really have to crunch down those numbers. So from that point on, it was just a matter of just educating myself and then getting our finances together to support a multifamily home. And once I found out that they count the other 2 incomes, or the other income, depending on what type of property you get, as income to your personal income, I knew it was full go. So that pretty much there just gave us confidence. And my personality, I'm more of I don't like keeping money in my bank account. I'd rather have it out there working for me. So I'm not afraid to make financial mistakes, because I take L's as lessons instead of losses. So, which I've had tons of those. So that's what pretty much drew us to just go this direction as opposed to the standard single family home. So that's pretty much what got us started.
He heard you on the Speedy and Friends podcast and came home.
So,
I was
you have to
podcast
listen
number
to this.
what? Like after how many? Because I like that you did your research. Now I like that, because a lot of bars don't.
Yeah.
At least you took time and did your research.
So before I had a phone conversation with you, I did speak on the phone to other mortgage lenders. And they were saying, oh, you're going to need like 3-4 months reserves on top of the down payment. So I was like, dang, that's going to push me another 6 months back at least to save up. So then I heard you on the radio. And I was like, you know what? I'd rather go black anyway. So I called you, you put out your number, and then from there it was sky's the limit. We officially
He said, I found our lender. I was like, okay.
So what stood out from my podcast? Because you listen to different podcasts and you talk to other lenders.
Well, I spoke to other lenders before I met you.
Okay. What didn't you like about them? Just the fact that the reserve?
The reserve, and they gave a blanket statement without any wiggle room. So they didn't say, but we can do this. They didn't have options.
Let's try this.
Exactly. Let's try this.
I gave you options.
Exactly.
And
just the personal relationship. I knew I can call you at any time, whereas opposed to someone I spoke to over the phone and never had a face-to-face conversation with. We were just a number.
Yeah.
So that
you really saw our vision.
Exactly.
You
I didn't have to
got it.
explain it to you.
Yeah, you got it. There was times where he was like, I don't think they're understanding like what our goal is here.
Yeah. So that alone was just good enough for me. And then I'd rather go black than anything else.
Okay.
So I'd rather put money into a black person's pocket.
Well, you know,
as opposed to
we
anybody
have to
else's.
though promote, because if unfortunately, even statistically, if our community do not begin to have ownership, and the best way to wealth, fastest way to wealth is real estate,
Yeah.
period, point blank, proven, can't nobody dispute it, you know? And if we don't start having ownership, and even today, people are getting discriminated against. Did you guys see the couple with the appraisal?
That happens a
Who
lot.
she had to take
Yes.
her picture down, and
Yeah.
the appraiser came back out, and they increased it by 100,000 today in 2020. And this is where it stops with me, because I'm not having that. My bank, we're here at my bank. This is owned by Egyptians.
Yeah.
They darker than me. They
Yeah.
darker than, they look like you.
Yeah.
But not only that, they're about diversity. You walk through our offices, you see everybody.
Yeah.
You don't see one representation,
Yeah.
you know. That's what drew me here to them. And they love God. And it's just, you know, they're just genuine people. They just want to see people win. That's
Yeah.
what it's about. It's not about greed. And people who are focused on commission, they're going to be here gone tomorrow.
Yeah.
Those are the loan officers that don't know anything. They can't really calculate much. They can't think outside of whatever my script is, perhaps, you know?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
call them, I think they're like call center loan officers.
Yeah. They are.
That's
They're
what
like call center loan officers.
That's exactly
You
what
take
Yeah.
them off that script, you put that, get them 1120s and start breaking stuff down, because you have to know that. You have to think outside the box.
Yeah.
And I had to get creative,
Yeah.
you know, to make this deal
Right.
work.
Yeah.
You know, if y'all don't mind me sharing, not y'all numbers, I could. If y'all don't mind me sharing
Yeah.
a little, I had to give up.
Yeah.
I had to give up some money.
Yeah.
Right.
But I love them though. I got the deal done.
Yeah.
Yep.
And God
And
keep
there'll be
blessing
more
me.
deals to come.
Exactly. But
It's
you know,
the beginning.
it was just meant to be though. And that's another
Yes.
thing too. You don't always go into a deal just looking at the money. You look at the couple. What are the goals? I was on that podcast talking about something that you had already been researching on. So everything also has to line up.
So a lot of
Yeah.
the information that me and you spoke about, I
already knew.
already knew.
Yeah.
At least the basics of it. The only thing that threw us in the loop, which we probably talk about later, is this whole new COVID rules. But
Okay,
that
let's
was-
just start.
Change the
So
game.
let's just start there. Okay, so how we got started? So then you call me. We get on the phone. We're clicking. Did you call the show?
no,
You didn't
I rarely
call
call.
after.
I watch all the time, but I rarely call.
Okay. So then we finally talk on the phone. I think I
You know
get
what
to see
happened?
you.
I contacted our mutual friend Shelly.
Shelly Rio.
So
Shout out to Shelly Rio.
Shelly.
She's making her own mask. We'll give everybody a plug because it is about own. Oh, that's what I was going with that. It's about ownership. I am here. No discrimination over here at Home Mortgage Alliance Corporation. You know, if you don't even have full documents, if you don't have your W-2s, your 1099s, I can work with you. If you have some money, honey, I can get you what you need, because there's no reason why people shouldn't own. And if you are, especially like a business owner, and perhaps you don't, like I said before, operate with your proper ledger, but you have money in the bank. I'm doing a loan right now, asset depletion loan, right now. Man just got a lot of cash. And that's all I need. I only need 2 months of his bank statements with 110% of that loan amount in that account. Plus, now that one requires reserves, 7 months reserves, and that's all I'm asking for. His credit scores are good enough for 20% down. Where can you go and get that? So, like for me, I love where my direct lender has the products that's available for all types of scenarios, and so it worked out. So we actually started out where we meet on the podcast. Then Shelly invites me to Jamie Foxx's house.
Yes.
It's some annual thing.
So
What
he
was
does
the
his
thing?
annual Thanksgiving thing. He didn't do it
That
this
was my
year.
first time ever going.
So he normally does it the weekend after Thanksgiving.
That Friday.
Okay.
So we've been going, I want to say, for at least 2 to 3 years straight. He didn't do it this year, but we met there in person.
And that's when I got a chance to meet you guys in
Yeah.
person,
Exactly.
which was also amazing because I didn't bring my babies; they didn't want to go. But anyways, so that also made it more personable too.
Right.
you don't always get to meet your loan officer, but if you do, like if I'm in the city, like I'm gonna pop up. I showed up at
She
your
will.
closing. Where y'all at? I'm pulling
She
up.
will.
I need my docs. You're supposed to
She
send my
will.
docs, but you were really good with getting the docs back, and I must say that. I ended up commending you towards the end. I'm like, you know what? I just realized this is a whole man
He
doing
did
this.
good. He did good, right?
Yeah.
For the whole year.
Yeah.
You did. You were on top of it. Because I have an example of the complete opposite with one client where it's been 6 months for just a refinance. And
Yeah.
it takes about 2-3 weeks just to get one doc. But everybody's different. And you have to have patience and understand everybody's situation. So from Jamie Foxx's house, then we just got right into it.
We got right into it.
And what I did, which I no longer do, what I did is I said, okay, cool. They're the first time homeowners. I want to give them the option to choose their agent. So I gave you guys, what, 2 or 3 options?
You gave me 3.
I gave you guys 3.
So you gave me 3. I contacted all 3. One replied instantly to set up a interview. So I looked at that as an opportunity. I didn't want to have to go chasing around a realtor because I just felt that was a bad sign. So we met with her. She was young. She was hungry. And she instantly understood our goal as well.
Yes, right away.
Granted, her major flaw was that she was new.
Very new.
So her negotiating skills were very low. So with that being said, we had the interview at a local coffee shop. From that point, she got right to work. She sent me deals.
We liked her.
We liked her personality-wise. And she sent us a deal. One of them we liked, and it just didn't work out. We went to escrow. It didn't work out. It was just me and the seller. We just couldn't come to terms, in other words. And from that point, we fell out from that realtor, and then that's when you brought us Shane.
Then I brought Shane. And then I like Shane because Shane comes from down here where I am. He comes, and everybody have their strong points too, you'll find, with different
Right.
agents. And so what made you guys choose her over the other 2? Did you ever speak to the other 2?
So I did speak to one other lady. We spoke over the phone. She didn't quite understand the vision, how strong I was focused on.
So she was trying to
multifamily.
push you to a single family resident?
Yeah, she was. Yes, it wasn't so much she was trying to push me to. She was just still throwing that out there as an option, and I was trying to tell her that's not an option. And then the other was
They
a third.
just hear like first time home buyer and automatically assume
That
that
you
that's that
cannot
we want.
handle, or they assume that you can't handle. How do you know you can handle somebody else,
Renters
paying
and being
rent when you
landlords.
haven't even owned before?
Yeah.
And that's not. If that was the idea of the government, they wouldn't have gave you the option to have a 1-4 unit at
Exactly.
3.5% down.
Exactly.
So, and then why not take advantage, and why even talk yourself out of
Yeah.
something before you even did it?
Yeah.
I just don't understand people thinking sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, then the third realtor, he replied back email wise, but it was like a week or 2 later. So I didn't really give him any type of attention due to the fact that he was just so late replying. So that told me either he was just far too busy or he just wasn't hungry enough. Maybe he had just other things going on, which is fine. So that's why we didn't go with him. And then, like I said, that's when we met Shane. And then Shane is out in Orange County as well. So, which I work in Orange County, so it just worked out. If we need to meet and do something, it just worked out. Shane also was a investor in homes, so he understood the numbers. I didn't have to explain to him what we wanted. And that's what led us to our second escrow, which was in February of this year.
And that one was the 203K loan. So we started off with the FHA loan, 3.5% down, which I encourage people to take advantage of.
Yeah.
It's not about how much you own. I mean, how much you earn per year. It's about just it's a loan that's there. Why
Yeah.
not take advantage?
Take advantage.
You know,
Yeah.
why not? It's
Yeah.
for first time homeowners.
Yeah.
That's what that loan is all
Yeah.
about. And the same 20%. Yes, you don't have to. You do have to have private mortgage insurance with that particular program. But I do have another program where if you put 10% down, which you ended up putting 10% down. We ended up
We'll
getting
get to that conversation too.
we ended up having to put 10%
Yeah.
down. Okay, but I do have another one. If your scores are there, like if you're in the high 780s, 800, you can put 10% down, and there's no private mortgage insurance per month.
Oh, wow.
So that's another product I have, but it's not FHA. And it starts at 10, where we started at 3.5.
And we went up to 10.
And we had to go up
Yeah.
to 10.
Yeah.
And so what one thing that was also great in an experience was, even though they do give you the option for that 1 to 4 units at that 3.5% down, there's another layer to that. And that other layer to the 3 to 4 unit part of that program is the debt service coverage, which we ended up learning, and having to
So
adjust and fix and correct and
so that didn't get
up.
applied. I want to say you could probably educate me on that. That rule didn't pop up until what, spring of this
But
year?
it was because, remember, we ended up getting into the COVID market.
Yeah.
Okay, so we ended up closing in the COVID market, so there were guidelines that were never there or weren't as strict, because before COVID, a 500 FICO could allow you to do 10% down with the FHA loan, a 580 at 3.5% with that FHA loan. It's not that now anymore, and we're almost to like a year later.
Right.
So the lowest score still today with most loans is a 620. Then I could take you more private and hard money and still get you if you got a 500, but that interest rate is not going to be. And I haven't even told them the interest rate I gave them. And I know people just probably marvel, like, how you get that with a 3 unit? Because I have another girl that closed right when you guys closed in Chicago. She had a 2 unit, beautiful building, 4 units upstairs or down, and then 2. It was a 4 unit, 2 bath, 3 unit, 2 bath.
Okay, 3 bedroom, 2 bath.
3 bedrooms, 2 bath, 4 bedrooms, 2 bath. Upstairs, 1 down. Same thing. Interest rate was crazy, and she said, everybody keeps saying, "How did you get that for that whole building? How did you get that interest rate?" But that's another thing too. So this is layers to it, and then you have to understand that depending on what's going on in our economy, our market, or whatever, guidelines can change.
Yeah.
Right.
It's not us lenders.
Right.
We're not trying to punish you. We want to close. We want our loans to close. We want to sell. But the moment something takes place with our economy, we price our rates off of what's happening with the stock market. So if anything's popping off over there, it's going to pop off over here. And we have to adjust. Because now if some funny stuff going on with the money, then we have to make sure we're secure. So we're going to make the rules a little stricter.
Yeah.
Because now we got to make sure we're vetting you guys even more.
Yes.
And even that we experience where now they asking for this. Oh, they didn't catch that. Oh, they saw this. Because they're going to dig now. They want to make sure you do not default.
Yeah.
Especially in a market like this.
Yeah.
And you guys, right
So
there.
the second unit, we were in escrow, and around March, it fell out in April due to COVID, just because, like you said,
It was the 203. That's why it was no. It was because it was the 203
Yeah, that's right.
loan.
Yeah.
So had we been in the FHA
Standard,
just
would
a
have been okay.
regular, loan, then we would have been okay. But because we were in that specialty loan, right when COVID hit, specialty loans, those were the first ones to go.
Yes.
So
And that
that means
particular-
nothing. If you didn't lock or you were not locked before that decision was
Yeah.
made, then it was a no go.
Yeah, and that particular, at the time it was a duplex, and we were trying to convert it into a triplex. So that was going to take around 120 to about 150,000 in renovations.
Yeah.
And we had already got
I didn't
all the way
mind.
to
We
the
had all-
end.
we
So we
picked
got
out
to the, you
construction.
guys had the 3 bids, you had got the 2 down to the narrowed it down. We had got so far.
Yeah.
We
had
were
already
so close.
picked
We were
what
actually
we're
the
doing
next
here
step was to
and-
lock. That was the and if I
Yeah.
would have locked it right before the date,
The
So
day
that was
before,
the contract.
but it wasn't meant to be though.
It wasn't.
It was not.
And I'm okay with
Yeah.
that.
So, and we took a small, about 2-3 month break
Yeah.
looking due to COVID. And around June, contacted Shane, and I contacted you and said, let's get back at it. And we sent all the information again. And it was me and Shane. I was late nights, early in the morning, sending each other links. What about this? What about this? What about that? And it was, he asked me, hey, are you guys thinking about moving? He threw out the city, and I was like, ooh, that's a little far. And it was off market at the time.
Oh.
And it popped up on my notification when it became on market. I was like, you know what, I like this place. I sent it to Shane. He was like, hey, that's the same one.
Oh.
So from that point, I was like, well, let's go. He's like, well, the only red flag about this property is you have to put in an offer before seeing it.
What?
Yeah. I actually didn't know that.
You didn't tell me that. See?
So,
and that's another thing. I don't know what's going on. Like, if I refer
you don't know
to
that end.
you know, you guys said he was doing well. You guys liked him. So that's all I know.
Yeah.
And if y'all don't update me, all I know is the money. That's all I'm concerned about.
yeah.
Making
So
sure
due to
everything's
me being educated in this field, I knew that wasn't anything to be scared of because I
Okay.
knew how easy it is to get out of an offer without putting down that official
straight.
deposit.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, oh, sure, I'll put the offer in. The only thing that I had to maneuver around was there were 3 or 4 other offers. There were cash offers. And I know cash offers usually are coming in either at the market price, but 9 times out of 10, they're coming below. I take that back. I assume they're cash offers. I didn't know that for a fact. So I threw in our bid. Our bid was slightly over the asking price, and obviously we won that offer. So we went to go see the property, and the photos that we saw were only photos of one particular unit. It was a 3-unit though. So the photos that we saw were great. It had just been renovated. But as we're going to go see the property, we're thinking, well, those other 2 units are going to be trash because they had long-term tenants. So even Shane, our realtor, thought the same thing. So we figured, okay, we're going to go see these other 2 units, and then we're renegotiate from there. We walked in, and the units were flawless. So,
nice.
so there was nothing really to be changed other than, just carpet and paint, stuff like that. But there was no real structural damage. So later on, we set another appointment to have it inspected. The inspector checked it. He said, hey, I hope you guys are buying this property because if you guys don't, I would. There's nothing wrong with it. They checked everything. And usually one of the main issues are that will cost financially far as repairs is plumbing and our electric. And the plumbing was flawless. He said the plumbing's good. Everything was great. So we really didn't have to renegotiate the price of the home because we really didn't have a leg to stand on and saying that we had to repair anything. And the owner kept it in really, really great shape. And then that's when we contacted you and just said, hey, we can go to the next step as far as putting down the earnest deposit. And
then pause there, because then that's where the difference
at this time
was.
we're still at 3.5%.
See, that's what I was about to say. We were at 3.5%. We were at 2 units with the other 2 properties
because we were in the duplex
and then
prior.
we were also before COVID. So we had met all guidelines. We had already been through this. So there were no surprises I thought we could expect until we got to the 3-unit. Then once we got to that 3-unit, now you're in the COVID, and we have other guidelines with 3-unit, which now the LTV guideline changed.
Yeah.
And it went from 3.5% to 10. And so this is when other
closing.
accounts, but even other accounts come. I'm like, oh, you didn't tell me about this one. But see, that's not.
I know we have little bank accounts here and there that
So I mean, I guess you guys don't always have to show us, but sometimes it's always good because you just never know. Because part of that guideline difference was. Remember how you said the loan officers before said, oh, you have to have this, you have to have that with the reserves. With the 2-unit, you didn't have to meet reserves.
Yeah.
But with that 3 and 4 unit, you did.
Yeah.
You had to meet reserves and you had to meet debt service coverage.
Yes.
Which means that the property itself has to be able to pay for itself even without your guys' income. So if either one of you lose your job or both of you, the property will be okay.
Yeah.
Which is how you want it.
Yeah.
Right.
That's the perfect situation.
Yeah. That's the goal.
That's the perfect situation to where if anything ever happened, not only do we have a place to live, somebody else just paid, the mortgage, and then somebody else just gave us money in our pocket.
Yeah.
If you chose to live that way, if you had to.
Yeah.
That's like a safety net.
Yeah.
That's what ownership can do.
Yeah.
Renting cannot do that for you.
Yeah.
And so that was the blessing on top of the blessing. Plus, what's the interest rate I gave you? Just tell them.
2.75. I believe it was. Yes. Yeah. When originally we were as close to the 4s. So.
And that was the difference.
Yeah.
With that first loan, we were in the 4s. The 203K, yep, same thing. We were in the 4s.
Yeah.
And I was going to try my best to bring them, like, I'm trying.
Yeah.
And to make this deal, I had to give up a nice amount of money in my commission. But it doesn't matter because I still made the commission. It's about closing the deal. And it's more to come.
Yeah.
Right.
Because you guys are now in the... Towards the end, I started to realize something. I'm like, you know what? I just realized something. I think I need to commend this man. Because, I'm always complimenting. Anybody knows me, I'm going to compliment the hell out of you. Okay? I'm sorry. I just, I love me, so I love you. I feel good about me. I hope you feel good about you.
Right.
I tell you, you look good because I look good, boo. I feel good. I hope you feel good. So, I said, you know what, Will? I must say, you did quite well. I said, every time I ask you for a document, what people don't realize is I'm going to ask for documents. We're dealing with money. So the income part of it will always have to be updated every time, whether that's your pay stubs or your bank statements. Always. Matter of fact, just come in knowing that. Matter of fact, I don't want to ask no more. When you get paid, send it. This should just be automatic. That's one thing. Sometimes things pop up. There were some things we went the whole year and didn't even realize. No, not realize. It didn't pop up until they did. But again, we were in a different market. Now they're checking more. We're in COVID. So now they caught something that they didn't catch before. It's nothing I did. We just had to work around it. And we did. And you guys had the right attitude. And that's how you close deals.
Yeah, so like a week before, we went from only having to put down maybe 20,000, and that's why I didn't have to show all those accounts because we had that in our bank account, to having to come up with another 30. So we went from 20 to 50. So we had to come up with 30,000 within about a month, I say, about a month, and we were able to do it. We pulled our accounts together. I closed out on stock holdings that I had. We had a third car that we weren't using. We sold that.
Oh, beautiful. I didn't know that.
That was my baby.
Oh, my goodness.
That car was it was the first car that I had bought and paid for. I bought it when I was a single mom, paid it off, and we just held on to. We both had bought new cars, and we held on to that car.
But it was meant for that moment.
And it really was. We sure did. Listed it on online and sold it within a couple of days.
Yeah. But that was a red flag on the mortgage side because you guys were like, okay, where's this extra
where'd all this money come from?
And so, we watch everything. So when you're in a contract, I think people don't realize you are in a binding contract. I have 30 days to get it done. Okay? And then when I was in that COVID market, that was nice. But we got it done. Because I think we were closer to 60. Because I was 45, or we were at 45. That wasn't too bad. I think we were closer to 45 because we got right there. But that doesn't matter. We got it done. Right. But what they don't realize, you cannot change your habits. Don't pull a large sum of money out of your account, nor go make a large purchase, or don't transfer money suddenly from this account to that account that we never saw on the 2-month ledger that you already gave us, especially if we've been going for so long.
Right.
Because we have been going for so long, we never realized, even that other thing that popped up that we didn't even know, like, well, they're going to ask about that, so just get ready. I was like, go ahead and give me these documents, because since this popped up, I know they're going to need proof. Everything in lending is about what's in black and white and what can you prove. Prove it to me so I can know I'm secure as the lender that you're going to pay. That's it. We're not trying to punish you.
Right.
We just want to know you're going to pay because we're going to go sell this note, okay? We want to make some money off of you, but we're going to go sell the note, and we just want to let our investors know they're going to get their little monthly dividends. That's it. That's all we care about. So when we ask you for documents, we're not trying to punish you. It's nothing personal. I feel like one lady took it personal, but I'm like, boo, it's not me. It's the system. Hey, if it was up to me, it's sold. Approved.
Right.
But I have to go through processing, underwriting, quality control. After quality control, pre-funding, funding. Like, it's a lot of channels. Because they have to check and then check and then check and then check and check. Because you're dealing with real property and title and ownership.
Yes,
It's real deal.
Yeah.
So we got to make sure, and I want my loans to go through clean.
Yeah.
I don't want nothing to pop up after it's sold.
Yeah.
Right.
Don't play with my money.
Yeah.
Once it's
Yeah.
done, it's done. I did everything I was supposed to do, and you guys provided everything you needed to show that we are worthy.
Yeah.
But it's loan.
I actually think it was sold within a week. The loan.
Oh yeah,
It was so quick.
and that's what that's how
so
I put my
quick.
loans together. Not only do my process and my underwriters like when I submit, because I'm putting everything together. When you have everything that they need. Oh, and this was another lesson with this loan. We had post conditions. See, people don't realize even after you sign and you do the documents, there's still things happening with that note.
Right.
And there are also post conditions. You could have signed the paperwork, and I told Will, I said, Will, if you don't get it, you want the time. I did. I got stern.
Oh yeah.
I said, Will, if you
that.
don't get it, I said, you will not get the keys.
So-
I was like, you have to get it. I got
Yeah,
stern.
so luckily I'm a pack rat when it comes to like tax forms and stuff like that.
Yes,
so that's
that
what
was
I was
good.
able to pull. Some old tax forms that I had from like 3-4 years ago that showed where the money was going and stuff like that. So,
And that it was something that had already been there, but y'all, okay, I'm glad you, because I didn't want to say, that's why I was working around the word tax. You
Yeah.
said it first, so now I can talk about it.
Yeah.
But this is good, because this is something common that a lot of people deal with. That's common.
Right.
You
Yeah.
already had your tax payment plan set up. You had got so common, it's so common in your household to pay it automatically every month that you
comes
didn't
out
need
right.
to
It
tell
comes
me.
right out.
You didn't
Don't
need to
even
tell
think
me
about
about
it.
it. It doesn't show up on the credit report. I do ask, because
Yeah.
I know I ask. I have my
Yeah.
little routine. But if you didn't remember, then it's cool. Then
Right.
we went the
We don't
whole
even think about
year
it.
Yeah.
and didn't realize until the last statement that you submitted.
Yeah.
And when I saw it, I said, "Oh
And
no!"
it was on there like,
It
what?
said IRS payment. I said, come on with it. Documents, boo. I need the payment plan. I need it because I already know what they're gonna ask
Yeah.
for. And my quality control saw it, which
Yeah.
I knew they were.
Yeah.
And then once they catch it, it has to be proven.
Yeah.
And so
Right.
it was so perfect that you had that document, because without that document,
Yeah, I
that
was
would've killed
searching for it. I was checking online so I can pull it up. Everything showed that I was making the payments, but it didn't
Right.
show
we have to know what the
the history of
agreement
the
is.
agreement and
Right.
the history of the payment.
Right.
So I was able to find it because I'm always on top of my IRS stuff.
And I don't want people to feel like you have to hide that.
No.
It's not a big
Yeah.
deal.
No.
Like, we want to know, because the reason why we need to know in the beginning is so I can include
Yeah.
it in your DTI.
Yeah.
And the good thing is, I'm so good, is I don't like to max my clients out with their DTI. If I
Yeah.
can put a wiggle room for stuff like that.
Yeah.
Right.
So in the end, because that's what kill a deal. You get to the end and you maxed out at the 31 over 43, or if it's a max out at 50/50 and you at 49/49, here come a bill that
Right.
y'all didn't know that might be just $200 a month, but that took your DTI to 60
Yeah.
Right.
or 55. That
Yeah.
took you over automatically.
Yeah.
Dead deal.
Yeah.
So because I had your DTI where it needed to be, you guys were able to get a whole nother
Yeah.
monthly on top of that DTI and
Yeah.
still qualify.
Yeah. Yeah, with the
That was
with the low
important.
interest rate. With the low interest rate. So
With the 2
after all those documents were provided, we closed, and we only had one tenant that decided to move,
Okay.
and we called the others and introduced ourselves and just told them, about the new change. And one decided to move. We didn't even get a hold of him, and just happened to, when we finally got the keys, I showed up, and we thought he was still living there, but he had moved. It looked like he just
Stuff
couldn't afford
everywhere.
to take the stuff with him.
Yeah.
So
I'm glad he didn't damage it.
No.
no, he left
thank
everything.
God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was like mattress, like
Yeah.
everything.
He had a dog, so that was the biggest hurt.
When we got the 3 unit, we had to make sure part of the debt service coverage would
Oh,
be
yes.
that either the market rent was being collected already from the tenants in that
Right.
property, right? Or higher.
Right.
So when it comes to debt coverage services, whatever that market rent is, say that market rent could be 800. And if you have a tenant in there and you're collecting $800, okay, you're collecting what the market rent is, or you're collecting $900, okay, you got $100 profit on it. But if you collected anything below, now the property does not qualify itself to pay itself because you're not even collecting market rent, and you guys was buying and entering that contract, and he was getting way below. Why was he so low? Did he know the people? Were they relatives?
No, not
I
at
think
all.
he didn't know his market.
He didn't know his market, and I think he just bought the home at such a low price where
it made sense for him, and he never adjusted
and he didn't want to have to worry about.
And that's important. You are a homeowner, first-time homeowner, but you need to know you are also an investor. If you do a multi-unit, you should think like an investor first.
Yeah.
Because as an investor, I'm going to always know what my market rent is.
Yeah.
And I'm going to know what my competition is around me, so I can know, like, your home is flawless.
Yeah.
So I can probably get top. And when you get that appraisal done, it gives you what the top market rent could be.
Yeah.
And it also tell you what that market rent is.
Yeah.
You guys were way below.
Way below.
And I didn't care. What did I do as a loan officer? Oh, no, it's going up.
Yeah.
I said, I don't care what they say. We will get this modified legally. It has to go up because at the very least, in order for the loan to go through, we have to collect market.
Yeah. So,
and I didn't. It just what it is. It was just what it was.
And that's exactly what we eventually did. So when we had to clean up one of the units. So me and her went in there 2-3 days a week, and luckily due to COVID, I was working from home, so I was able to go there during the week as opposed to only on the weekends. And we were in there cleaning up, painting, removing the carpet, laying down vinyl flooring, hardwood floors, and we cleaned it up. I installed my own wall paneling because I felt it would bring value to the renter. And luckily for us, the previous tenant, he left like a double door LG refrigerator, and it worked fine. There was nothing wrong with it. So we cleaned it all up. It took us about a month to clean up.
It was a process.
It was a process, yes.
We did everything ourselves.
The lesson learned from that is we probably will hire most of the cleanup.
And how does that work? Because, okay, one thing that I commended you on, as far as getting the paperwork to me when I needed it, you never complained about it.
Yeah.
You were pretty good, too. Yeah. Like, if I needed it within that day or so, or I called you, I texted you, I stayed on top of you, and you were good. So you told me, I asked you a question, what made you choose to do it and not her? Because typically the woman is the administrator, typically the one who does the paperwork and the bills.
Yeah.
So I thought that I noticed
I get
that difference.
Stressed out easily.
Okay. Paperwork itself.
I was just about to say, our roles are flipped with that. So one, she works 12 hours a day. So a lot of times when you was asking for things, she was at work.
I wasn't even available.
She wasn't even available.
I wouldn't be able to respond to a call, a text, an email, nothing while I'm at work.
Whereas in my field, I can do all that because I'm in front of a computer. So it's a lot easier for me to hop on a website and download a PDF for a bank statement or any type of money transferring that happens. So that's easy for me to do. And on top of that, I'm in the real estate field. So everything you was asking for, I either already had on standby or I just had access to it instantly where I can give it to you instantly. Whereas for her, she'd be like, well, I don't know where this stuff is at. How do I do this?
I know, it did take you a little while. What, a pay stub? I was like, come on.
Well, for a while, she didn't know how to log in.
I didn't have access
Was it
from
the W-2? It took a while for a minute.
I didn't.
Something.
My job is a little behind. So we didn't, in the beginning of all this, we didn't have access from home to our pay stubs and our W-2s. So I have to wait till I go to work. And then when I went to work, I'm trying to print it. I'm calling him like, it's not printing right. It kept coming out weird. Our system is better now. I can access it from home now. But I had to like call HR and get permission to have a special. Yeah, it was a process. But then after that, I think it was a little faster getting you all of my stuff. But that was me because nothing was.
But you guys worked well during the loan process. Your nails are beautiful.
Thank you.
So I can only assume you worked well when you guys had to do the construction, like the remodeling, because you guys.
Oh, like together, as in us two?
Yeah, like how well did you when you guys were remodeling the place?
We have
did y'all bump heads or no?
We have a unique way of communicating.
We do.
We do.
Y'all just talk next to each other.
Yeah,
We do.
That's what it is. It works.
So we decided you do one room, I do the other. We can never
we'll see
do
who's
two
the
rooms.
best.
Yeah.
And mine will be better than
And I'd
yours.
be peeking in. Like, you missed
And
the spot
she'll
over
just come
there.
in behind me and correct everything I've done. So once we finally got the unit ready to rent, I had already pre-signed up to a landlord website that filters all the rents, it even advertises your unit.
So what made you do that?
Just research.
Just because you're already in the business too. See, that's another thing. You know, like I know you're first. Like I don't have all the answers because I learned things too. So now I can tell my clients to go there. Where
it's called avail.co. So avail.co. And then there's another website you can use, cozy.com. That's a popular one as well. So we just chose one of those. I chose Avail. And the only reason why I chose Avail over Cozy is because it marketed to more websites than Cozy. And I put it on the market within a couple of hours. I had 50 applicants trying to get into one home. And we narrowed it down to about 10, and then we finally got to our final one. But go back to your market rents, we were able to get the highest, we pretty much got the highest one bedroom in the city.
Favor.
In the city. And we had people fighting to get into our unit.
So we were able to price, and I could have went probably.
And it was double what the previous tenant was paying. Almost double.
I know. I'm like, this makes no sense. And I'm like, you guys, I told you, you get coming in. This the new landlord in town. Because that was, I mean, it worked for him. It worked for him, but. No, get what you're doing. You're doing this a smart investment. It's for your future. Every dollar you don't collect, you just gave away. That could have went to your babies.
Exactly.
That's how you have to look at it. It's an investment.
So we're able to get the highest rent in the city. On top of that, I'm even renting out the refrigerator.
We rented out the fridge monthly.
That's smart.
Because it's California, fridges don't come with units in California. You supply your own fridge.
So
okay, so when are we doing our next property? Let me know.
I'm ready.
That's what I want to know. I mean, so overall.
So what that told me in that city, that particular city is
that's hot.
There's not a lot of competition. It's hot.
There's no competition.
There's no competition, but there's other units for sale. So I was like, well, I can just repeat this process.
Yes.
The only thing I want to do is just make sure it's empty. That way I can
put your own tenants from the beginning.
Exactly, and have the higher rent because everyone out there is paying way below the market.
So y'all even looked at that. So I guess it's because they've just been comfortable and been there for a while.
They've been comfortable and they've been there for years. And
no change, no nothing has come in
and
to kind of uproot.
It's very common for a landlord not to increase just because he doesn't want to have to deal with the turnover.
Right.
Because every time someone moves out, you have to go and clean that unit up, which costs money. Now you're out of rent for at least a month doing renovations. So they're comfortable if they're getting cash flow. They're like, well, I'm just going to keep it at that market. Whereas in 5 years, if you're paying $1,000, but now you can get $1,500. So you're losing out. Yeah,
that's a huge difference.
You're losing out on $500.
That's going to help you guys on the next property we do. That's going to be such a great.
So now I can't wait for the other tenants to move out so I can.
So you can raise it.
So I can raise it. So that's what it is now. The lady was very excited. She damn near cried over the phone when we told her
she got it.
She got it. We had multiple people.
Y'all should have made it like a big deal too. Like gave her a balloon or something. Like
I did.
Oh,
I made a gift basket with little,
You should have posted it like she won.
And,
Well, we recorded the conversation.
The winner of the award-winning room of the unit of the area.
Yeah. We recorded it.
Okay, good. And put that on. Like, is there where you advertise to rent? You can keep pictures and stuff up always, or only when you need to rent it out?
So that's what's so unique about the particular company I went with. So once I uploaded those photos are going to stay.
Nice.
And I can just hit activate or deactivate. So say if somebody moves out, I hit activate and it will automatically put that unit up for lease.
Nice.
And as soon as it gets leased, they handle all the applications. They do the background checks for me. The future tenants pay for the application process. All I got to do is just follow up, far as checking their background and saying yes or no.
Okay. Now, what would you tell people watching your experience? Like, do you feel like this was one of the best decisions you guys made? Do you feel like, how has it benefited your family financially? Would you recommend it as far as did y'all have any fear? What would you tell people who may be thinking, I want to get my home, but should I go SFR or should I sacrifice? Like, you guys have 2 kids. And you have your unit is a 2-bedroom or a 3-bedroom?
It's a 2-bedroom.
And so, and you sacrifice, but it's worth it because once you sacrifice that first year to just then once you move out, now that entire 3-unit is an investment property.
Cash flow.
And if you want to go to your SFR, now you got a straight cash flow sitting over here. Now you can get the house you want, and you made a wise decision and a 1-year sacrifice. 1 year goes by so fast.
So there was 2 other unique things about the property where I knew were gold mines. So one, the 2-bedroom unit had a unfinished basement, which was not
that's right,
calculated
into the ADU and all this.
It wasn't calculated in the square footage of the value of the home.
Okay.
So I knew once, if I just paid to get that finished, that's added value to the property. And my calculations, it was around about $60,000. It would be added to the property if we got it finished. This is an additional about 225 square feet, which can be another bedroom. And then the other great thing about this property is it came with a mini laundromat.
What?
So we're getting income from the laundry as well.
So, y'all charging for everything.
Oh,
you might as well set up a coffee station with a little charging station and get a little cappuccino charge going on. Put a little vending machine outside the front door.
They're charging for everything.
So it comes with a mini little laundry.
But you got laundry cards or something?
Yeah,
we upgraded it to that. It was coin laundry and then
y'all might need to write a little dummy one-on-one first time homeowner, a little e-book or something.
So what's unique about the laundry is I have to commend the previous owner. So the way he had the contract set up with the laundry is he didn't own the actual washer and dryers. Another company owned them and they split the profits. But what's great about that is I don't have to worry about the maintenance on the washer and dryer. And I don't have to put up no deposit. They just come and drop it off. If the washer and dryer makes $300 that month, they take $150, I'll take $150.
Oh.
And there's no cost to me. They get the money, they
collect the coins.
Well,
now it's card.
Now it's card.
Originally it was coins.
And I upgraded it to the card, and then I just get the deposit into our account.
Nice. I love how you guys found different ways to add to the monthly.
So that's extra income. And after that, it was about just getting your systems in order. And what I mean by that is just have plumbers, general contractors on standby when something goes wrong. I found a lawn service that handles our front yard, which is my next step to get redone. And so I'll tackle that in probably next year. And then just having all our systems in order as far as having the websites on standby, having passwords, everything, where eventually my main goal is to give all that information to another company where they can handle the
property management.
Exactly.
Okay.
So having all that in order is key. That way, I know when I interview a property management company, I know what to expect, what I want them to do for the tenants that I have. So right now, we're very comfortable being the property managers of the unit because nothing really has to be done to it.
I know. It worked out.
It did.
So
that's beautiful.
Once we start to scale, then I will eventually hire a property management company to handle the day-to-day, so we're not getting phone calls in the middle of the night. So
is this the best decision y'all made thus far?
Yes.
The best.
Yes.
The best.
By far.
And you guys are smiling, so you know how some people do the whole home ownership, they're stressed out, they damn near got a divorce. That's good. So I encourage people. I just wanted people to hear you guys' story because it's definitely worth it. So have you guys already completed the garage space, y'all turn it into a bedroom?
No,
or that's
so
in the future?
I'm gonna do that in the future.
So if you
at least
already
a year
get
from
top
now.
dollar, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's gonna really add value
Yeah, it's gonna
and
add
stand
value.
out
Yeah.
with the comparables.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's gonna be good.
Yeah. So
That's
so the next step will be the landscaping. So right now, I want to get it to the point where the landscaping will be low maintenance. So I'm not paying for the water, and because right now we have the sprinklers that come on and things like of that nature, and the lawn service. So once I get all that removed, the money that I'm paying to the lawnman monthly goes back into our pocket. I don't have to worry about watering the grass because I just plan on putting, low maintenance stuff like rocks and cactus and stuff of that nature. So what's great about that is the city has this program where they are willing to fund the maintenance
For your landscape?
For outdoor,
landscaping.
and, yeah,
Yeah, for
anything
anything that's
outside.
indoor because they know it brings a value
So
to
then
the
that's
city.
another
Curb
lesson
appeal.
for first-time home buyers. You probably want to research your
Exactly
city
what I
to
did.
know what incentives
Yes.
they are giving for first-time homeowners, or is it just for anyone that owns?
Anyone that owns.
Okay, so they can just have different programs that's
Yes.
going on for the city. I'm a
Yes.
loan officer. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Other than like down payment assistance programs, but like solar panel programs, they got landscaping programs.
Yeah.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
good to know.
So what I did during the process before we were closing, I was doing all that research as far as what's going on in the city, what's being built in the city. And that's when I realized, it's not a lot of competition either. There wasn't a lot of homes for rent out there.
Oh.
So I knew if we fix up the home nice enough, we can hit the market rent, and actually went, above market rent, just because everyone that came in, we did a walkthrough, open house for, they said our units were better than anybody else's that they've seen in the cities and in the nearby cities.
Wow.
So I did that, and I saw that there was a few like apartments that are going to be being built, but I know that usually takes a year or two, just due to permitting and that's just how things work. So I'm actually okay with that, although they'll bring competition to us, but I knew new apartments is just going to draw up the rent because any person that's building apartments, they're going to want top dollar.
And if you just said that there really are no comparables.
Yeah,
so
there wasn't a lot.
Comparables for it. So then your
will be. I am the comparable.
You're right.
We
what they're
are
gonna
setting
compare.
the rent.
So it's gonna go higher.
It's going to go up.
Nice.
Yeah.
So favor on top of favor. So this is a sweet deal for you guys.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
so happy for you guys.
Yeah.
So the fact that it can go up, and as long as you're out of the contract, you can keep increasing it as many times.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
So I think you gave people some good pointers. I just wanted to hear you guys' perspective as a homeowner. Like, how did you guys make a decision on who delegate the paperwork, who deal with the loan officer, who do that? I just wanted to make sure you guys let people know how the decision to do the multi-unit actually worked out.
Yeah. Leading up to the property, I was doing most of the work, but once we got the property, that's when she did. She handled most of all the renovations. She did the screening with the future tenants. She did the walkthroughs with the tenants. She asked all the questions for the tenants. I didn't want to do any of that. I just stood by. I was pretty much just a live extra, just standing there. And that all went well. We had no flaws. I think that's what most people are scared of, is having tenants and dealing with them not paying the rent or things of that nature. And I always say, if you do the work prior, it will save you in the long run. So we chose someone who had long work history. Her credit was good. Her income was, way above what we were charging her for rent. So we knew she would be comfortable paying the rent. And on top of that, she had no kids, which I loved. And she was single. So that told me that she was...
Is that part of the application prior? Single, married?
They do.
Oh, yeah, I guess so.
I gotta know who's living in my
so
unit.
Yeah, because if there's two,
Because like if she's single, she could have all kinds of people running in and out of there.
I'm not
versus
worried
a
about
married
that as
couple?
opposed to a marriage couple. If they decide to go separate ways, now what happens? because when you're married, you're depending on both of those
That
income.
income.
She's by herself, so she's used to dealing with those storms. So I knew that due to where she worked, I was comfortable with her handling it by herself. And she was from the area as well.
She has
Also, a lot
family
of
ties in the
variables.
area.
A lot of variables
Yeah.
to choose who you want. But you guys did the research.
We did the research.
You
That's
did
the
the
key.
research.
If you just do the research, you'll be prepared for every little hurdle that comes.
Yes.
And
we were prepared. We had hurdles.
Yeah, we had-
post,
we had-
pre-post, and it got
yeah,
done, and then
yeah.
like any little hurdles that you
Yeah.
guys may have come. But that's good though.
Yeah.
I'm glad to hear that you guys have laid out.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it's gonna increase like
Yeah.
in your near future.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So on my end, I'm not afraid of failure. I actually welcomed it. So I was kind of upset, low key, that those other two units were in perfect condition because I wanted to go through the whole process of
Okay.
renovating just to get experience. But we didn't have to really do much of that. We did it ourselves, but
Which was still experience, so it worked.
yeah, it was still
nice.
experience. But generally, what we had to do was very low maintenance compared
Which is
to
good.
what other
Especially for your
investors-
first property, that's really,
Yeah.
really good.
Ease
Yeah.
into it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it all worked out, and I'm already looking for the next deal, either in that city or in the nearby cities,
Yeah.
just because we.
And
know
I already
that
know y'all
market.
telling y'all friends about me.
Yeah, so
Of course.
So
I would
that's
say
a,
that's my loan officer.
I know, it's like, yeah.
so that's another thing
She
that,
comes.
like, one of my rules is I don't like to tell people to do something if I haven't went through that
Experience
storm
yourself.
myself. So
Yeah.
I was sharing with very few people what I was doing, but once I actually did it, I started to open up more about it. Just because if they had questions, I want to be able to provide the answer as opposed to saying I don't know. Because I know, especially with black people, as soon as you tell them I don't know, that deters them. They're like, well, if you don't know, I'm not going to follow you. So I wanted to have those answers, and now I have those answers. And now I'm sharing it with my friends, like, yo, you can do this.
And then what would you
Easy.
say your experience was with me? I mean, because you're in the real estate industry. You come from a family that have a lot of real estate.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, like, what, I mean, I know what attracted you to just call me your lender, but then your experience through this whole year,
Yeah.
how was that?
So my recommendation would be find a loan officer who understands your goals. Because if they don't understand your goals, you guys are going to bump heads through the whole process. And my experience with you, what I love is you were willing to go through all of the wiggles of the roller coaster. A lot of loan people would just either pass that to someone else and they want to deal with it, or they would try to discourage you to go a different direction. So the fact that you was willing to ride that roller coaster with us is an A plus. And now we're both learning. And when we both learning, it just works out because now we can take that to the next deal.
Exactly. And now we have a rapport. Now we're family. And then I showed up. You know, I had to pull up at the closing.
She sure did. She went through each paper like, Nicole, you didn't sign right there. Sign right there.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to make sure. Yeah, I mean, I know I don't mean to be. I also used to be a signing agent, so I just wanted to make sure. But I did catch.
No, but that was good.
I caught one or two where she did miss, and
Yeah.
then what would have happened was they would have sent that paper for you guys to
Exactly.
revise, and I'm like, no,
We don't
I'm
have
here.
time for that.
Let
We're
me
done.
fix it now.
Yeah.
And Jackie Braden, mortgage loan officer, just got done talking with Will and Nicole. We had heard their great story. They got such a great deal, so much favor, and then they're gonna get even more money that they can add on their rent. So it's just amazing. Wow, I'm blown away. I didn't know y'all had all this going on even after. I have on my jewelry collection, Ja Jewelry. So you guys can check out my IG and my website, Ja Jewelry, JAH Jewelry, JEWELRY.myshopify.com.